to the cloud. And a minute or two, set it up, start the share. You good on water?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you. Go ahead if you want to start setting up. Is there a comment?
What are we going to do? More question.
Today is, what are we going to do is the question?
Yes.
And today we're sharing our results. This is the third part of a 3-part series on the power of words. We did 2 experiments. So today we're going to be sharing all those results and kind of a review. So you haven't missed much. You're going to get a lot from the review, and then from the sharing from participants that have been participating on the other 2 and the results, you'll learn from them. And just really about the power of words and thoughts, how they manifest in our body. So just kind of an awareness of how words can be very powerful. Just because we can't see them like the air, we know the air is very important to breathe. And so are words and thoughts. And, it's something we don't see. So we're making the invisible visible for people today. So it's a great experiment that you'll get to see. I have pictures of the results of the leaf experiment we did first, and then we did a water experiment. So we're going to be sharing that. So you haven't missed much. It's going to be fun.
Facebook share.
Make sure to be on the comments alert. Okay.
Oh, there's an error. JB. That's a new setup.
Okay.
Oh, great. It's doing it different. Now let me share to
the Healers Roundtable page?
Nope, it's just either directly on my own timeline. Yeah, remember how they're giving us the error about the change in the API or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Before. Not giving the same option before. Connect to the Facebook, but it's only to my personal. Only me, friends. Again.
You got it?
And she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't allow permission, Facebook it has an error, but it's only showing me Live on Facebook. Live on Workplace by Facebook. It might be that one for the business. No. I'll wait since we change over to logging in. They want to post on my behalf. Oh. You gotta tell people to go on the Zoom because it's only gonna post on my personal.
Do you wanna come on mine to see if we could do it?
It's not Mohed. It's the programming. It's not gonna let me do it. The new updates is just, yeah.
What if I did it this way?
I had to get permission to
You figured it out?
possibly find out. I had to give permission to post on my behalf.
Okay.
Page, share the group, championship. Dealers roundtable. Yeah. Subject does not have permission to create live. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's not.
It's
Yeah,
not,
permission is not doing it.
it's not doing it.
Yeah.
Let me do this then. Good morning. Okay, I am live. But am I live? If I'm going live on my group, am I live at the same time? Oh yeah. Okay. We had to improvise because for some reason our Zoom is not letting us share on our Facebook page live.
Due to the update on Facebook.
There was an update of some sort, so things are a little tricky. So what I did is I grabbed my iPad and my computer with participants from Zoom, and I have my iPad, so you're gonna see me looking both ways. I'll try my best to make this work, but we're gonna make it work. So let me just do this real quick. Oops, it's not gonna let me do that. Perfect, there we go. I am Rebecca, and my husband, JB, he's busy over there trying to figure things out. And together we are Dual Dragons. We are holistic wellness consultants, also known as the Muscle Whispers. And so there is our information. You could email us for more information at jbr@dualdragons.com. You could also visit our website, dualdragons.com, or you could call and text us directly at 949-942-1428. So today we are going to, this is part 3 about how words manifest in our bodies. Okay. And so we had part 1 where we did the leaf experiment. And so we're going to talk a little bit, review a little bit about that. In our leaf experiment, we asked permission from our tree and we picked 2 leaves out of the tree. And to one of them, we placed each leaf separately in separate rooms. And each one, we had to go in every day and talk to it. And one of them, we spoke, very, how can you say? We spoke to positively, and the other one we spoke to negatively. Okay. And so we all share those results. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through my slide. And so we all did a share on how did we feel doing this exercise? Were we surprised with the results and what we learned? So this is the day after our course. So this is Thursday, April 15th. The leaf to your left is the one we spoke to positively. And the leaf to the right is the one we spoke to negatively. So as you can see in the pictures, you see the left one beautifully green, the right one is beautifully green, but you could already see a little speck of whiteness on that right leaf at the bottom of it, because my husband had already started speaking to it negatively. And then Friday, April 16th, same thing, left leaf, we spoke to positively, right leaf negatively. And you can see those little speck of white still there. A little bit more. And here is Saturday, April 17th. And look at the leaf to the right, the one that we spoke to negatively. Now on this day, I was noticing that there was only those little specks and that was it. And what did I tell you my husband to do?
That I wasn't speaking mean enough, but also I noticed more the changes on the other side. For some reason, she was only taking photos of one side instead of both sides. The other side was the spots where you see on this side, some of the white spots. You could see more pronounced on the other side. The tip was starting to blacken, but again, it was a challenge to speak negatively to this leaf.
Yes. So I kind of helped him out a little bit to get to really see the impact. And so this was Sunday, April 18th. We spoke about that. And I believe that it was on this day you really had a hard time speaking negatively to it, right? You want to share that?
It was a weird thing when I was trying to express even deeper, say my own pains and negative words. It was there was this choking sensation, almost like the leaf was fighting back. It's like, you're not gonna speak to me that way. And kind of like in life, we have those many thoughts, dualities, to be nice, or if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. But realistically, sometimes we have to speak truth, which then would help someone. But because we also hold on to that belief, if we have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. We all have those struggles. And hence why this kind of inspired this course, to be aware of the words and how that affects your body. And in this case, for a long time, for years, I've been practicing on understanding that for myself. Yes, if there's nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, but there's also speaking my truth. And in this case, there was a little bit of a struggle where I felt the suffocation, getting choked, trying to speak these mean words for this experiment.
Mhm. So then the next day, now we saw it was a huge impact. From Sunday to Monday, it's almost like the poor leaf gave up, like, okay. And you could see the impact on the leaf where the left one is still beautifully green, but then the right one you could see on the edges, it's really rough to look at because you see the decay now, the big patch of white. You could also see it on the edges of the leaf. And then that was Monday, April 19th, and Tuesday, same thing, a little bit more. My leaf to the left is starting to barely show any signs of dryness because it wasn't receiving any water or anything. So it was only receiving my loving words to stay alive. But you could see that now the leaf is starting a little bit dry up, but not like not decay like the one on the right.
And for those
Mhm.
who are looking, it might seem like the right one's still dark green, but then that are just we're not perfect photo takers, and I just noticed that there's two different lightings. So it's not that it was dark or green; it actually was dull.
Yeah.
It was dry, but again, probably for next time we'll make sure to have the same lighting and position when we take the photos when we do the experiment again.
Okay. So that was our leaf experiment. And then for this week, we did the water experiment. And so what we did last week, we all had 2 glasses of water. We had one that we were not going to energize just to be able to taste the difference. And so we first drank out of that one, and then we put it aside. And then we grabbed our other glass of water and we held it, tightly. We wrapped our hands around it, and I led everyone through this meditation to really send all these beautiful thoughts of all the special moments in their life, things that made them super happy, there were moments of joy, moments of feeling proud of yourself, and just sending all this beautiful energy, visualizing the water as beautiful and blue, like the beautiful blue oceans of those exotic islands that we see on TV. And we're just like, wow, that I want to swim in that beautiful water. So we visualize the water as beautiful and we send all our energy there. And when we drank from it, it was interesting seeing the difference on taste. A lot of people mentioned that it wasn't as dense as the other one. It tasted much more fresher than the other water. It was it was different, and so we did notice the difference. And so we had everyone try that for the week and just to kind of share results today on how they felt. Did they feel like, for example, for myself, I felt more energized. I felt more clean. And then it also helped that my husband and I, we ended up doing a colonic cleanse on Saturday. So that was really nice, because then I really felt like everything, even inside of me, was clean. And so we were able to do a juicing fast on Sunday, and so by Monday, I was just like really feeling really, really good. We did experience a headache, but as someone mentioned, what did someone mention to you, JB?
A couple different healers have brought up that even headaches could be a form of cleansing, being that you're making so many changes internally. So again, that's what we always share, to learn to listen to your body so it can let you know what kind of headache it may be or what kind of changes you may be experiencing. For me, I'm doing the juice cleanse. One of them a couple of them didn't taste well. Again, rather than just doing it to water, I did it to this juice. So then it made it more drinkable for me because I had to finish the sequence of this juice. And then, of course, listening to my body, I knocked me out for a couple hours just to process the headache.
Yeah, but then afterwards we felt great. It was almost like we just needed to do that one last over the hump to feel better. And so that was the water experiment. And so I just wanted to have everyone share. Let's see. Anybody has anything to share? Go ahead and
Yes, Zelda?
Yes, I was thinking right now when you were showing about the lift, and I didn't thought about it when I did my experiment. If we try after a couple days talking mean and seeing that, decay, if you start talking positive, if they will make any changes. I was thinking about it right now, if that will revive the lift.
the leaf. I'm not sure because it's not actually still on the tree. I think it would be different, like what you did on your plant in the kitchen that you noticed it was
Mhm.
to die, and then you put it, then you did some changes and started talking to, but it was still receiving water, soil, like all the resources to be able to survive. On this experiment, since it's really not in soil or receiving water, I don't
Mhm.
think it would be possible to do the reverse because it's not getting other sources either.
Yeah.
Like
Makes
for
sense.
us, we had a similar issue. Like we received a beautiful plant for our wedding gift, and then not realizing how sensitive it was to heat or trying to find the perfect place for it, it just burned out. And my wife is dead, just throw it away. But for some reason, something said just add water, just add water. And then within a couple days, new greenery was starting to be, but it had the soil, it had the water. And I think we found a decent place that wasn't too hot, but it wasn't completely shaded because we tried inside, it killed it. Then we tried outside, it dried it out. So it's like finding the right places for these plants sometimes is key, along with the words that we use, because now it's coming back to life. And then I just gotta, talk to it nicely and add some water and check in with it every once in a while to kind of see if it's happy where it's at. But then again, the whole purpose of this whole experiment is to share that, to be aware of what you're saying or what you're thinking, and notice the aches and pains that you may be experiencing within yourself, or the foods you've been maybe eating and how it makes you feel, or the places you sleep, or the clothes you wear, or the vehicle you may be driving, or even at the, preface, pre-framing the workplace, like I gotta go to work or I gotta deal with this client. We wanted you guys to be make the invisible visible by being aware of what you're seeing in experiments. Like lately, I've been having trouble sleeping, but it's like I'm practicing what we preach. It's like, this is gonna help me relax the bed we're on, or this blanket, or this pillow. And I've been waking up with less aches and pain because I'm using this exact experiment towards the clothes I'm wearing, the shoes I'm wearing, the bed we're sleeping in.
Mhm. And so last week we had, I believe it was Latera, she shared the YouTube link to Dr. Masaru Emoto's experiment on water. And so there's this video on YouTube. If you type in his name, Dr. Masaru Emoto, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but he did an experiment on water, and under a microscope, you can see, like the first picture on the top left, the statement was, "You make me sick, I will kill you." And look what it did to the water. And then the one right below it on the left side, it's anger. The intention is anger. And look how under the microscope, how the water looked. But then if you look to the right, the intention was peace, and the one below it is love. And look how it beautifully crystallizes the water. Now imagine if we could see, as we were energizing our water all this week and drinking our beautiful water, that we were sending all this beautiful love and joy. Imagine if we could see what we were drinking and how beautiful those beautiful crystal-like particles of the water was going into our body. Now imagine how imagine the effect of that on our bodies. Which one do we would prefer to drink? The one to the left or the one to the right? And so this is really interesting when we're able to make something visible, for everyone to see, like, what is it exactly we're putting in our bodies? Sometimes we don't think about that. We don't really think about what we're putting in our body, even with our words and thoughts. So with that, I want to go to the next slide. And on this one, I think I'm going to have to, let me see. You can't see the other side. I'm trying to. So there's this book called The Four Agreements from Don Miguel Ruiz. I don't know if many of you have read it. It's a really good book. But in the Four Agreements is be impeccable with your words is the first agreement. And I believe the second one is don't make assumptions. The third one, can you read the third one for me, JB? Does it show it?
Don't take anything personal.
Yes, don't take anything personal. And the last one is always do your best, are the four agreements. And this book really explains really well on how our words, if we're not impeccable with our word, like truthful, how it really can affect yourself. And it's the way it says it is, there was one part that really got to me. It said, be careful on spells that are being cast on you and the spells that you cast onto others. So in other words, like whatever words you're saying, for example, I'm going to use this example, like your children, when they don't pick up their room. Oh, you're just lazy. You're messy. Am I really speaking truth, or am I casting a spell, leading my child to believe, yes, they are messy, or yes, they're just lazy? And so it's really interesting because the way this book is written out, it really makes you think about what exactly you're saying and what impact is creating in your life. Do you have anything to share, JB?
Yes. There's, I guess, another group I had a similar discussion, kind of elaborate on this particular thing. And again, sometimes we don't know where the person that's in front of us is dealing with. Are they really lazy, or are they depressed? Are they fighting something that's triggering them to have this behavior of a shutdown and just to be blah? And that's been one of my recent establishments or accomplishments was I thought I was being lazy, or I thought I was being procrastinated, but realistically, I was battling some really heavy thoughts that needed me to address, to meditate on, and to do our healing process. But at the time, even before we really engaged, my wife's like, why are you such a procrastinator? And then she stepped back for a moment and then started asking different questions, along with other support from our healing circle or the healing community I was building for myself for this particular challenge. Then I had the right people asking me different questions and engaging in a very inspiring thoughts that allow me to feel confident in myself and my own gifts to address. The reason I'm not really giving you specific examples is because I didn't know what it was. All I had was a visualization of this thing in my garden, like undesirable plants or like kind of dead. And all I did was remove it. So I'm not digging deep to my past, what created that. I'm just applying what we know. And sometimes most of us cannot face it. And we just had to find a metaphor or a mental or physical process, maybe writing a letter and then burning it, or visualization like me visualizing the garden. Oh man, this needs to be upkept or cleaned up, and remove it. And of course, put something positive in its place.
Mhm. So with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and let me see, escape to be able to stop share and come into our group. There we go. So here we are. Any thoughts, Sylvia, that you would like to share on?
Um, no, just taking everything right now, all the information and processing.
You see me? Let me lower my iPad down so you guys can, and so everyone can see my face now. So let me put this like this. Okay, so then that way I could look at the screen. And yeah, it's just really, the other thing I want to just share is how, just doing this experiment, how in time, we're not perfect beings, we will make mistakes. And another thing that that book shares, the 4 agreements, is that we're the only species that we do self-punishment over and over, like not like other animal beings that they make a mistake, they learn from it and they move on. We're the only ones that punish ourselves over and over and over and hold on to the past of this, self-punishment, like, oh, we're not good enough because we made that mistake, and because of that mistake I'm that kind of person now forever. And that's not true. We can learn from our mistakes. We can evolve. We learn as we're learning also not only how to speak to ourselves, but also speak on to others. And so one of the things I always, talk about is, why is it that when we have friends or special loved ones, we speak to them in such a positive way and we cheer them on and to try to make them feel better, but we don't do that to ourselves? We're our worst critique. We're harsh onto ourselves. Like, but is it really us, or is it a condition that we were raised also? So there's also that other aspect when you look back as you were growing up, like what it says in the book of the 4 agreements, those spells that were cast onto us. You're nothing, you're useless, you're worthless. And it comes to a point where you start believing them until you awaken from that spell. You're able to release that spell and say, no, that's not me. Like, no, like Sleeping Beauty, you finally receive that one thing you needed to be able to release that spell and be able to learn from it and move on. But a lot of us stay stuck. And so how do we unstuck ourselves from that conditioning and continue doing that behavior onto ourselves? There's a lot of people we have met where they're like, oh, I'm always gonna be in pain. Why? Oh, I'm always gonna be sick. I'm always gonna not be able to function. But we have seen in other cases stories of people that make them possible, that they were told they were never going to walk again, and they're walking. that they were told that they were never going to be able to have children, and then they have a child.
So
Yeah, like myself. So for many years I was told I was never going to have children, but look, I have a daughter. And it's miracles are not just for some people. I say miracles are for everyone, but we just need to truly believe in them and use our words and thoughts to manifest those miracles and really put the work in. That's another thing that we were talking about. People want instant results. People want it like, oh, if I say this, I'm going to receive it now. If I say I'm going to win the lottery, I'm going to win the lottery. But you're not putting the work in. And so it's really about, like it said in the book, 4 Agreements, being impeccable. Impeccable meaning, and look up the word impeccable so we could really, share that definition. So then that way people realize, because it's easy to say be impeccable with your words, but some people are like, but what's impeccable? Like, what does that mean? Do you have it?
impeccable of behavior, performance, or appearance in accordance with the highest standards of property, blameless.
Mhm. So with the highest standards, and highest standards, does it really mean highest standards of other people or yours or your higher self? That's another question. Like, whose higher standards?
Right here, there's another, I guess like an older definition of not liable to sin. And Don Miguel kind of described what sin is pretty much not being hypocritical to yourself, not really lying to yourself in simple terms. Like if you believe in one thing and being impeccable is being aligned with it, in the sense of, okay, yes, this person believes in something else, but this is where I'm at. Partner is a different religion, but yes, I still practice my own faith. Or, my partner has a different tradition. There's an aspect of respect and you kind of applying and going with the tradition, but doesn't mean it challenges you. But as long as you're honoring yourself, you're not liable to sin, is pretty much what impeccable implies, as it is implied in his book. And again, we definitely recommend for those who are listening to consider Don Miguel's book.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot to learn from that. I really enjoy. I'm like trying to look something up too at the same time. But there was a part there. I don't know if you could pull it up, like the first few pages of the book where it shared what sin is, just to be more specific. But just the way he describes things is a little more different than what we have been taught in whatever religious upbringing we had. It's very different. And so it kind of gives you a different perspective on what he means about being impeccable with your words. And it's mainly just being true to yourself, not lying. Like, how sometimes we have that one person, instead of saying, you know what, I'm worried about you because I'm not quite understanding what path you're on, but we're so scared to lose their friendship or so scared to hurt their feelings that we'll say the little white lies. So we're not being truthful. So in a way, we're sinning, because if you see your friend is not on the right path, but you're so worried to hurting their feelings or them taking it personal, then you're in a way not being truthful and impeccable with your words.
Or you're kind of cast under the spell of, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
To remove that fell, so to speak. The section I found was sin. A sin is anything that you do which goes against yourself. Everything you feel or believe or say that goes against yourself is a sin. When you're impeccable, you're taking responsibility for your actions, but you do not judge or blame yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's another thing I want to talk about when we speak in judgment, and I'm talking about on ourselves. I'm just going to use myself. The way when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you're already judging yourself. Like I've done that, where I look in the mirror and I'm like, ugh, I don't like the way I look today. Oh, I look horrible. Why are you so ugly today? Or, and it's like we don't realize the impact that it's doing to our bodies, and so it's I sometimes worry and wonder, especially nowadays, that plastic surgery is like a commodity, but you still see a lot of people, even with the plastic surgery they receive, they still feel ugly. They still feel like something else needs to be fixed. They're not perfect enough. And so that worries me, because not only are their words an impact in how it's manifesting in their body, but now they're surgically opening and damaging parts of their body just to look perfect. And then you have to wonder what that effect is going to do onto their bodies as they grow older, as they age. Is it going to make things complicated for them? Are they going to have a very complicated elderly lifestyle? So it's little things like that that I think about a lot, on our clients, that I worry about them. I want to give them the best. I want them to be able to grow old gracefully and feel wonderful. And that's the whole purpose of that, because a lot of my clients will say, oh my God, I just turned 40 and I'm starting to feel it. And it's true. We were taught in school that as we were kids, we jump off swings, we jump off monkey bars. Well, we get a little hurt here, we bang ourselves. And we don't even think of the results. It's just like a car. When a car has several dents or it's been in several accidents, the quality of the car, when you try to resell it, is not that great, because there is damage to it. Well, it's the same with us. All that damage that we've done throughout many years, it kind of comes back to haunt us when we're getting older. But that doesn't mean it's not irreversible. So with our work, the work that we do, I'm sorry, let me just finish.
Yes.
The
Yes.
work that we do is to help reverse in a way the effects of many years ago. And it's possible. What was the thing that you did with my ankle, my love? Because my right ankle has been through a lot. I have sprained my right ankle so many times. My right ankle, in my senior year of high school, I had a level 4 strain, which is like the worst. I fractured the fifth metatarsal on my right foot. Like, my right foot has been through a lot. And more than a couple of months ago, like 6 months ago, I had my husband really work on that foot. I kept telling him, like, you know what? It's really starting to come back and haunt me, all the things that happened to my foot, my ankle, and I'm really starting to feel it. And so he did all this deep work. Plus, we did the exercises we do about the gardening, the body scan. And can you like go on from there, like what you saw?
Right. So again, for someone that's just trained massage therapy, they'll feel, oh, this is tight, and they'll just go through a routine. But we do our best to kind of educate our clients, especially, specifically just kind of addressing Rebecca's question. was like I was getting visuals and I'll just ask her questions. Oh, what does this mean? What does this mean? And that's how we kind of, when we address our clients, okay, something will come up. We don't know what it is. We don't try to interpret what it is. We just ask a question, and sometimes a client will come up, well, that's what this means to me. And then we just feel the body release some of the tension, or it makes the adjustment or start snap, crackling. And many of our clients, when we take them through this techniques, being aware of their words, they seem younger, they feel more energized, they feel more managed of the pain, depending on the situation, because everyone has different layers of spells, of words that they kind of put in their garden, that once we help them, all right, I want to clear this out. One lady, she felt almost kind of like a castle wall. It was really hard. Her visualization, she had a dog in there, a dog that she don't care for. She removed the dog from her garden, boom, completely released some of the tension, and actually her digestive system was a little under distress, and that helped her start flowing. After that session, she was able to go peacefully the next time we saw her. The other people, adding a dog to her garden added that release, whatever tension in that part. So it's really important to be aware of what you value,
Mhm.
you use, the lessons where you learn the value of those words sometimes. And then, of course, kind of empowering yourself to repurpose them for you.
Yeah, and I think what was interesting for me was realizing that I was holding a lot of my anger on that foot. So I was sending those thoughts, those words to my foot, like, oh, this this foot always gets hurt. It's useless. It's so when JB was working on me, like he said, he was questioning me, like, what does this mean? Or what is this about? What masculine energy are you holding on to here? And so as he worked through my foot and my ankle, and I was able to release with my own words, like, you know what, I'm just repeating things that are not benefiting me or my foot. So why am I going to hold on to this? It's time to release all those thoughts. It's time to release those negative words and start really caring, like, you know what, my body does work. I have gone through several healings within my lifetime that I know it's possible. So why am I holding this anger on my foot? And so it was like really questioning myself and really giving myself self-love. To I remember that one day it was like he was really working on it, and then all of a sudden he pulled, and you just heard this really deep pop right in my ankle. And I remember I looked at him like, ah, it was like magical. It was like the final release. Like I got to the finish line and I was like, we got it. I got what I needed for my foot. And then after that, he only works on it when it kind of acts up a little bit, but I'm not in that pain anymore. That pain is from 10. If it acts up to a 2 or a 3 max, but it's never been up to a 10 ever again. So those are the changes, not only working on it physically, but an emotional and mental aspect that we do. We do the 3, where we address not only the physical, the emotional factor, and the mental factor. The words that we've been saying to that part of our body, or the thoughts that we've been storing, that emotional trauma and those thoughts, they just stay there in our body. And how can we release that? So that way we can grow older gracefully. And if you ask, what's the one thing that we've heard people that have grown really old, and they always ask him, what's your secret of old age? And you will hear from most of them saying, I laugh every day. I dance every day. I enjoy my life every day. They never say anything negative like, oh, I don't know why I'm still alive. It's like they always share these positive thoughts and affirmations that they've been holding on to is like, and they grow old gracefully, you know. And I think that's what one thing we need to look on, like, you know how we always do our 401k, our retirement plan. Everyone is so like worried to make sure that we have all this money set for us. And it's, if you notice, most of us will say, oh, I'm making this plan because if I get sick, I don't want my children to have to worry about medical expenses. Everyone's already thinking about having medical expenses, getting sick. And so I'm like, why don't we change that plan now and start a 401k of words and thoughts that you want to manifest to grow old gracefully? I'm going to grow old gracefully. I'm going to have a wonderful, you know, adult life where, you know what, I'm going to start doing some changes. I'm going to start walking every day, you know, because I want to be happy in my old age. I want to enjoy this in my old age. When I retire, I'm going to do these things. I'm going to do these activities. I'm going to start, you know, making a course, you know, and it's, I have to say, that's one thing my dad has done really well. Because if you guys met my dad, he is, he does not look his age. He does not look his age. And he still goes to the gym. He's retired. He still goes to the gym every day. He's very active. He participates, he volunteers at the high school softball team. He's always doing something and the things that he likes to do. And that's what keeps him active. That's what keeps him growing old gracefully, because he really does not look his age. People, I've shown people his picture and they're like, what? He's 70s? What? He does not look his age. Anything else? Anything anyone would like to share? We've just been talking and talking. Anything, JP?
I was just seeing if there's any responses on.
On Facebook, I know. I can't really see it because I have it live here, but the comments don't come up on my page.
Sylvia, anything in our conversations you like to share?
No, not right now.
So it's just been really interesting. I hope everyone from the leaf experiment, the water experiment, let's just kind of like do some changes from now on, the water experiment. Is there anybody in the group or is watching that is having some health issues? Try to do the water experiment where you're sending this beautiful love, this magical love that's going to heal that, and see what results you get from that. If anyone is dealing with depression, try the water experiment. Send in, like, put in those thoughts that are opposite from depression and see how your depression, it affects your depression. If it starts decreasing, if you start feeling better, if you start feeling more energetic. And just try those little things and see how they will affect your body, your energy, your self-being, and I like to, it's funny because JB will constantly be like, oh, I need to do something about my belly. What happened to you this weekend?
It's been a while since I got to go play my first sport, paintball, and none of my pants fit. Like about 10 inches.
But it was like, it was interesting because he was already like, oh, like, speaking negatively about his body, like, I can't. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I still love you. I love you even if you grew to 10 inches. And it's not, I'm trying to cover that up. It's like, that shouldn't be a focus. Okay, let's do some changes. Let's do something to reverse that, you know. But if you're gonna focus on it in a way of like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this to myself. This, I'm this fat. I grew 10 inches more. You're not gonna get out of that slump. That's a way of getting stuck. And then you're just gonna stay there because you're always gonna feel 10 inches bigger. You're always gonna feel fatter. And then it doesn't it doesn't help. So it's like, yeah, notice, oh, okay. Oops, we have a little extra weight, okay, let me start drinking a little more water. Not getting, I see a lot of people, like a lot of people in the New Year's Eve resolution, they wait until New Year's Eve resolution, they all hit the gym, and within the month, they're all out of the gym because they overdid it. They hurt themselves. It was too hard. Oh my God, my body's in pain. I can't be in pain. And it's because they didn't do changes slowly. Like, oh, okay, this year I really want to focus on walking. You know what? The summer's here. Let me sign up for aqua aerobics and enjoy the summer in this wonderful cool water and exercise at the same time. I always tell that to my clients. It's summertime, guys. Join an aqua aerobics class. Not only do you get to cool down, but you get to exercise at the same time, and it's going to be fun because water aerobics actually is much more softer to the joints. You don't feel the impact. You do feel it afterwards, like, wow, my body's a little sore, but it's a great exercise. It's a great low impact exercise for the joints. And so a lot of my clients, they always love the fact how they feel afterwards, like, wow, thank you for suggesting that. That actually helped me better than feeling really sore at the gym, or giving up easily because it was too hard. And that's what I explained to our clients. Do baby steps for your health. And, once that gets easy, then add another baby step. And once that feels easy and doable, then add another baby step. But don't try to do everything at once, because like I said, we all have this bad habit of wanting things now or wanting a certain result now. It's like, no, you have to put in the work. And like I explained to my daughter, when you first started learning how to ride a bike, did you just learn how to ride the bike like in that second? No, you had to practice. You had to get up on it. You fell down a couple times. But you did it. And it took a while, but you did it. And that's what I explain to our clients. Give yourself the gift of time to accomplish these things. And once you master that, then add something else to it. Then once you master that, then add another thing. But don't try to master 10 things at once where you're going to feel depleted, you're going to be in pain, and you're going to give up easily. So those are my story to share and my wisdom to share when it comes to the words and our thoughts and how they manifest in our body and things that you can do to yourself. And like I said, number one, don't judge yourself. Don't criticize yourself. Leave those words for someone else to say that you could kind of be like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. and do that to yourself. Like if you catch yourself doing that, like, oh, that silly person in the mirror, I don't know who that is. I don't have time to listen to you. I'm going to listen to the nice person, and that's yourself. Be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself, be loving to yourself. Anything else you want to add, my love?
No, I just want to thank all our participants that are watching those, Sylvia, for joining us. If you have any questions before we wrap it up, we'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Sylvia, for joining in. I hope you got something out of this today.
No, thank you. I always enjoy your classes. I really appreciate it. Can't believe, it's for free. People don't take advantage.
I know, definitely. And we're going to keep doing it. I was thinking of the next course because I was already looking into that, just kind of feeling the energy, what's been going on. And so I was thinking on the next course on like steps in becoming a healer. But what does that really mean? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not a healer, but we're all healers. We're healers of ourselves. We heal ourselves. So how can we become a better healer? So I think that's going to be our next course, which will be interesting. So that'll be
Yeah.
for May. For May, that'll be our course. And you're in Arizona, right, Sylvia?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. So we are actually gonna start doing in person um, real healers roundtable meeting. Hopefully, we're gonna get that group started so we could also grow more ideas and more participants to also do courses with us through their ideas.
That-
You know, so yeah. So maybe I'll send you. I'll see how that works out, and maybe I could have you join in virtually.
That would be great.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for
Thank you.
joining. Make sure to watch out for our next course. Like I said, it's going to be in May, and it's going to be steps on how to become a healer. So that's going to be the next course. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get off live. There we go.